the right one.
All right. Would you guys want to go ready, Freddy?
I'm ready.
All right. Let me switch to this scene. Then I want one, I think. Yeah. Okay.
I like your smoke detector there, Eric.
All right.
That one there?
That one there.
Episode 57, the Comic-Con episode.
Just gotta know that I'm
all right.
serious.
We're going right now, everyone.
We're live.
Yeah. So I'm gonna do my thing.
Hi.
All right. The views expressed in the show don't necessarily affect the views or partners or sponsors. Enjoy.
Hey guys, welcome to the 57th episode of the Salt Pop Podcast, the Comic-Con real podcast. Yep, real. Devin said
Real deal.
Real deal.
Real.
All right, guys, we're a little short-handed today, missing two esteemed panel members. Craig and Zane are enjoying the Twilight concert series, so we actually won't have a Twilight update this week from Craig. We'll have to get it from somebody else. Stick around for the after show. It's about 20 to 30 minutes of just casual BS and opinionated topics that don't necessarily relate to anything on the show. But until then, Trent, I know you guys just got back from Comic-Con, buddy. How you been?
Been good, man. Been out of one place and into the fire, I feel like, because just planning that move.
Oh, that's right. You're moving to a place that's double the size, right?
Yep, double the size. So, and I'll have my own office, so get my own decorations in the background. This isn't mine. That's not mine. None of this is mine, but it will be soon.
I think you should have left the washer and dryer.
You should get a disco ball like me.
Okay, I'll get a disco ball. I'll take a tour later of the washer and dryer.
Or you should make sure you get smoke detectors too, like I got. That's really smart.
Actually, inspired by Devin and some of the other people that went to Comic-Con, I've been going through Venture Brothers from the very first episode.
Yes.
Shit is hilarious. I mean, I don't have to tell people who are fans of it, but if you're not a fan of it, I highly suggest watching it.
Dude, do you want to know how many dollars I spent on merch from that?
For Venture Brothers alone, or?
Yeah, okay, not dollars, but literally every single piece of Venture Brothers merchandise that I found, I bought while I was in Comic-Con. I'll just put it like that.
Did you wind up getting the new Brock Samson action figure, or no?
No, because the line was capped. I couldn't.
Yeah, welcome to Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Sad.
Yeah.
You'll notice that Eric is no longer coming to us from Instagram area.
I am not
yellow anymore. He got a real boy webcam. How you been, Eric, since Comic-Con?
Been good. Got a little exhausted after Comic-Con. I did the entire drive back, straight shot, all 12 hours by myself.
Something's different about you. You seem more brighter and happier, more
very
clear. Like your life's more clear. Oh, it could be your webcam.
It's the webcam.
You know, we think you live in a closet, but I don't think your jackets help very much because they literally look like you're inside of one, like a walk-in closet.
My house is just so big. It's just I have to broadcast from the closet.
And I live in a discotheque.
Devin lives in a dance hall.
Yes.
All right, guys. That's going to do it for our
intro.
We're going to
What about Devin?
No,
the hell?
He's been talking. Devin, hi.
Hi. How are you? I'm good.
Sorry, don't punish the producer.
No, I'm really good. I'm only here because Craig and Zane aren't, and
normally behind the scenes on the old podcast as well as the new one, so it's a rare look. But Devin will be with us for a few weeks as the Twilight series ramps up. Craig and Zane are probably going to be attending most of the shows. So
fans of our show will know that when people are away, normally I get invited to the show. And that's about all ever.
Devin does have a standing invitation. It's just how much he wants to actually talk.
Yeah, depending on the day, depending on the cast, he might have something to say, and he might be completely silent. But not today.
No, today I'll just be completely silent.
All right, guys, we're going to jump into current events. It's going to be a Comic-Con focused podcast, or a live cast, I guess, even. Trent, take it away, man. What do you got for us this week?
All right, as many of you know, we left for Comic-Con last Tuesday, only coming back this Monday. I know I have a little bit of the vacation blues, definitely didn't like going back to work. I'm sure a lot of other people felt the same way. For those who don't know, Comic-Con is in San Diego, has an attendance of 125,000 people, and is sold out since 2008. We have been going for the past 3 years, since 2011, And this was Eric and I's third year, Devin's first year.
I was a
And
virgin.
Devin, what did you think of your first Comic-Con experience? I want to know what you tell everybody how you felt.
It
How
was
did it feel to have your cherry popped?
bleak and lackluster.
Oh, you.
No, I'm just kidding. It was great, man. I honestly can't compare it to anything. Like, imagine you see in movies like all the people in Times Square just packed shoulder to shoulder, right? And I'm like, wow, Times Square is really crowded. But then imagine cramming all of them into like this showroom floor, and just everybody's interested in things and wants to go see the thing they're passionate about, and everyone trying to get around. It's just like, I don't know. It's mind blowing.
An unreal experience for sure. I mean, once you get on that exhibition floor, it's absolutely mind-blowing, especially with, I mean, like I said, 125,000 people all passionate about these different things. All you get along with them. You're not arguing about who's better or what interest is better. It's just a great feeling, very inspirational. And I'm sure we'll talk about. Go
It's
ahead.
kind of a come one, come all type thing, like you were kind of saying. Like, it's just anyone is welcome there except for furries. So,
They have their corner. They have their.
They have their
Right.
niche.
you know.
So for Comic-Con, each year there are decorated moments that I remember, and I'm sure everybody else remembers. So I wanted to touch on 3 things that each of us could talk about that the 3 of us visited for. I want to talk about our favorite panel, our favorite moment, and our favorite purchase. Let's start with favorite panel. Devin, really interested to hear what you have to say. What was your favorite panel, man?
All right, so this is okay. I got to give some background here, without giving away too much of my favorite moment or anything like that. Okay, basically there was a moment in the Comic-Con that I was very, very excited for, and unfortunately it got crushed, and I was very, very disappointed. It was getting later in the day. I wanted to go home.
Yeah.
So Ricky was with us, our friend Ricky, who went, and I told him, man, I'm just going home. He said, no, come to this panel. And I told him no probably 5 times as we walked back, and then finally, I don't know what changed my mind, but I ended up going. And I was sitting through it, and Ricky's like, okay, if you want to go, we can. And I just turned to him like, how can you say that? This is the best panel out of the entire Comic-Con that I've been to. Like, I was just so fascinated by it. So the panel was Kevin Smith's panel. The thing is, I'm not a fan of Clerks. I'm not familiar with Red State, any of his animated stuff, or even his podcast. But just as he was talking up there, he was probably the most inspirational person I've ever listened to. Just in some of the stuff he was talking about, creativity and things like that, it just was very motivational, and I had a blast listening to it.
So you went and saw him in Hall H, is that right?
It was Hall H, and it's crazy, but just the one guy there, he almost filled Hall H up completely by himself. Just him talking, not about anything in particular, just him talking.
For those who aren't familiar, and most people aren't, but try to describe Hall H and the feeling of Hall H and the magnitude of it.
Hall H is basically the biggest room I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, I could barely see the other side, and just about as wide, full of chairs. And
With like 7 jumbotrons all hanging from the ceiling.
Yeah, you got jumbotrons hanging from everywhere because you're not going to see the front at all.
yeah.
What else did he talk about? Like, what inspired you during that panel?
Okay, so one of the things, among other things, they talked about podcasting. He said that basically, right now it's like this untapped medium. Anyone, pretty much everyone in the world has some way of recording their voice and some way of uploading it to the internet. There's absolutely nothing stopping you. And so he said, maybe it's not today or tomorrow, but sometime in the next year, he said, start a podcast. You never know where it's going to go. He was talking about his Smodcast that he runs. That was basically just a way for him to keep Muse on track. Like Jay, he was just he was into heroin and stuff like that, and basically he was trying to get sober. So they started the podcast just so they saw each other more, and that's how their podcast got started. He had a friend who was just really depressed, and so he started another thing just with another friend. That's turned into Comic Book Guys, the TV show that's on now. So all of the stuff has basically just come from podcasting, and he said that, it's an untapped medium. No one's there to tell you that it's not good enough or, you can't put it up, and that was just one of the coolest things for me to hear, just because it kind of validated all the stuff that we've been doing, and yeah, I mean, that was among other things that he said. That was one of the things that really got me.
So one of those more follow your passion stories, and there are plenty of those at Comic-Con. I mean, any interest you have, you can find a panel that will sort of invigorate your passions and tell them to follow your passions, because that's how they got there, and that's how they're giving panels at Comic-Con right now.
Yep.
What about you, Eric? What's your favorite panel?
My favorite panel was one that I kind of wasn't really interested. It was all on that same day that everything was kind of going down. It was getting towards the end of the day. We were winding down, trying more or less to find something to fill our time before we went to another activity. And it wound up being the Saints Row the Fourth, the Super Ultra Wub Wub panel was the name of it. And it was just like, it was a panel that was all about the new Saints Row game. But they had like the creative director there and like another person from the company and a bunch of the voice actors and everything. And it was just so cool to hear them talking about having such like free roam and free creative control on their game, and they were just laughing and joking about like stuff that did get into the game, stuff that they wanted to put in the game but they couldn't, stuff that was going to be in it. I mean, it was hilarious. They were talking about how the original ending they wanted to have for the new Saints Row game at the end involved a 3-minute Bollywood dance number, but it was too expensive and involved too much motion capture to put it in the game and everything. I mean, it was just hilarious. They talked about how, like, the dubstep gun that's going to be available for download and in the game, like, there was two different groups of people who were in charge of coming up with weapons for the game, and they both separately from each other came up with the idea of this dubstep gun, and they're just like, we had this idea about this dubstep gun, and everyone's just like, what? No way, so did we! And it was just so cool to hear them talk about, like, this thing that they were so passionate about and this project that they loved and enjoyed. It was a lot of fun to see that side of it, instead of just like Capcom trots out and says, by the way, this is the remakes we're doing this year. It was just such a different side that was really cool.
Who was on that panel? I know that Troy Baker, the voice of the male voice 1 in Saints Row the 4, as well as Laura Bailey, the voice of female voice 1 in Saints Row the 3rd and the 4th, both. I don't think Troy Baker's going to be the voice of male 1. I think that's Nolan North. But he will be a male voice in Saints Row 4. The writer for Saints Row 3, he was really inspirational to listen to, I thought, during that panel, just like listening to his writing process.
He was really
and all
good.
that. He was super charismatic and really fun to listen to. And I think they had a voice of a radio DJ. And who was the 4th person, Devin? Dr. Can't remember the name.
Keith David.
No, he was part of the expansion, and I
that's right.
haven't played it, so I don't really know.
He's also going to have a huge part of Saints Row the 4, it sounds like. And also, he said the second DLC for Saints Row the 4th, or Saints Row 4, is the best thing he's ever written. So, really hyped for Saints Row 4 right now.
Day one purchase, been saying it for a while now.
Yeah, it really got Reggie was super excited. He bought it on the Steam sale while we were in San Diego, and then he went home and installed it and started playing it based off of
Saints Row the 3rd, right?
Saints Row the 3rd. Yes.
Saints Row the 3rd.
It's weird because THQ is gone now, and so that panel was a little iffy. They even asked about that a little bit, but it sounds like everything's just sort of gone their way, and they're partnered now with. They're in a really good situation, and I'm happy for them.
Yeah, there was somebody who let them have retain creative control of their license. They trust them, and it sounds like Saints Row the 4 or Saints Row 4 is going to be everything that they want. So that's really good.
They were saying that when it finally came down to it and they were parting ways, there was two companies who were kind of vying for the option of buying the Saints Row franchise. And the one company came to them and was just like, we understand that Saints Row has this. And they were kind of really iffy. And the other company was just like, dude, Saints Row has this. This is so cool. And they just, like, yeah, they understood it was a passion project, and they were just totally excited about it. It was great.
Yeah, exactly. It was awesome. My favorite panel, I would have to say, surprisingly, was the Arkham Origins panel. I don't know what I went into expecting that panel, but the best part of it was the voice actors, most notably Troy Baker, who's going to be voicing the new Joker, as well as the voice for the new Batman, which I can't think of if somebody wants to look that up for me on Arkham Origins. But those two guys were hilarious. They went in there, they had a bunch of fun. Both of them knew that stepping into two of the most iconic roles in not only pop culture but comic book history is going to be really, really hard. They're following two of the most well-known voice actors of all time, the former voice actors for Joker and Batman, and they seem to have a great time. Troy Baker, for those who don't know, he's the main voice of Booker DeWitt in BioShock Infinite. Like I said earlier, he's also the main voice of Saints Row the Third.
And Last of Us.
And he's also the voice of Joel in Last of Us,
Yep.
among many other things. This guy has a huge repertoire of stuff that he's done in the past. And to hear his Joker laugh, like that little deep laugh that Joker does, that Mark Hamill used to do.
But how do you feel about, because they both deflected so much about doing voices. That laugh is like the only thing we got.
We got the laugh. We also got.
How do you feel about that? Like, do you wish they would have done more?
I do. I can see why they're not. They're trying to build up that hype a little bit, maybe that newness of going into an origin story, not deflating it a little bit by hearing the new voice actors. There's not a lot of voice acting in the trailers, if you notice, either from either Batman or Joker. We got the voice actor for Batman. His little take they did was like, "Knock it off, Robin! You stop it right now!" Like, they were just so funny.
That was just like it.
Yeah, right.
It really is.
I should
Wow,
go into voice acting.
Are you really the voice, and you're just?
It was so funny because he's like, no, hear me out. It's a new creative approach. I know out of context it sounds really silly, but you're gonna love it in the video game. Trust me.
See, but
They were just.
it was funny, but it was his way of deflecting. And then I go to these other panels like Adventure Time, and you have John DiMaggio, and he's just hilarious, and he's just doing voices left and right. And
Yeah, and gosh, it's hard, man, because I feel like for these two voice actors that haven't done Joker and haven't done Batman before, I don't know. I think they want to have the mystique behind it, the mystique behind these new personas, and it's also something to what I can't remember if they said it in Saints Row 4 panel, but it's like, I don't want you to see my big ugly face behind that character when you play the game, and I really think that's what they were trying to go with. I don't want you to see my face when you see the Joker. I don't want you to see my face when you see Batman. I want you to see Batman. I want you to see Joker. And I really think that's sort of what they were going through. Whereas compared to something like Adventure Time, where they've been going for like 5 seasons now, and they're already really established. They've had multiple cons before. It's a little different, where they can have a little bit more freedom with their voice acting. I just feel like they just want us to see Joker. They want us to see Batman and not see them. And I can understand that, but I understand where you're coming from too, with sort of deflecting, and I wish we could have seen them a little bit more in character. But Troy Baker in Saints Row the 4 did a conversation between Booker DeWitt and I believe it was the character from Saints Row 3rd, right?
not much of a conversation, but yeah.
Oh, no, it was Joel and Booker who did a conversation. It wasn't much of a conversation because he did have to do it on the fly, but I really liked that he was able to go between those two characters.
Yeah.
I don't know. Voice acting was not high on my radar. And I really think this year with Saints Row 4 panel and Arkham Origins and all that, it really got put high on my radar. And
Troy Baker was the hidden gem. Yeah, he brought that voice acting up.
Totally. Like he put that on the radar for me, especially with all of those huge profile games that he's been in lately. And I just think, man, I gotta be more aware of these voice actors. They're doing
Trent
great
was also
work.
just really excited because at the end of the Saints Row panel, he took his picture with Laura Bailey, who he found out voices Chun-Li in the Street Fighter games.
Yep. Voice of Chun-Li, picture with at Comic-Con. She also voices Chi-Chi from Dragon Ball Z. She voices all kinds of stuff. I don't want to get into it
Should
too
give
much.
you a little Hadouken thing, like a
Koken. Oh, that would have been. Oh, why did I?
One thing before we move on, I just want to give
Should've been
credit
your text
where it's
message.
due to Eric's thing. Saints Row was acquired by Deep Silver. That's who purchased them. They also bought Metro, so they got some good titles now.
Dude, I am so
Nice.
happy for them. Are you? And you're pumped too, aren't you, TJ?
Oh, dude, so pumped. Devin knows the Saints Row.
Oh, TJ and I spent many a night.
Devin
playing.
and I beat the game together, basically, and we spent many a night and hour playing Saints Row 3rd. It was I had put it off for a while. It was not the game I expected when I started playing it. I was blown away. So definitely playing 4, day 1 purchase. So
All right. And Roger Craig Smith, that was the voice actor for Batman, and he's got my approval from what I've seen. So.
and going back to the voice acting thing, like I'm still laughing to this day by some of the dialogue of the characters in that game. Like
The
it's
sing along, dude. The sing along to.
it's just so good. It's so smooth. It's just like I don't know.
You know-
it's realistic. It's awesome.
I was playing Saints Row Third after I got back from Comic-Con, and seeing Troy Baker's personality and Laura Bailey and hearing them, it made it so much better. And that's why I just want to put voice actors on a higher priority or bigger on my radar.
Yeah, there's some incredible voice actors like Phil Lamar. He's great. Mark Hamill, of course.
Mark Hamill, of course. Kevin Conroy, who's the old Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's some great voice actors.
Yeah, I definitely put them on your radar. It's going to be great.
There's Dave Fennoy as Lee from The Walking Dead.
Oh yeah, he's amazing.
He does a lot of stuff. He also did some voices in StarCraft 2. Like, it's pretty crazy.
You always see John DiMaggio all over the place, and then
he's everywhere.
Who's the voice of Fry?
Billy West.
Billy West, of course. Yeah.
Really look those people up on Wikipedia and stuff because they have tons of work. It's not like they came out of nowhere and started doing these voices. They've been doing it for years.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy, and stuff that you wouldn't think would cross over. So, like, Michael Sinter-Nicholas is the voice of Dean from Venture Brothers, but you wouldn't, like, it's so out of the way of what he normally does. Normally, he just brings in, he normally just does anime. He has two studios, an LA studio and a New York studio, and he basically just brings anime from New York, does all the voice work for his characters and stuff, and then he basically just contracts it out and then sends it through. It's just weird. It seems so different, though. You know,
it's a different world, and I'm definitely starting to get into it and appreciate it a lot more. Yeah. Devin, what about your favorite moment? What was your favorite moment? I know that you sort of hinted at it with your favorite panel. Why don't we hear about that?
All right. Do you guys have the same favorite moment as me? Because I don't want to steal your thunder.
I don't.
I don't know. I don't even know what your moment is.
All right.
We'll find out.
So we're waiting, and the only reason we did this was because we wanted these damned Halo pins. They're actually pretty sweet. They're selling for like $100 on eBay if you can get a full set of them. But basically, you had to go around.
Still have them in the bag. I don't. I put all mine on my lanyard.
Basically, you had to go around and you had to go to different booths or do different challenge things with Microsoft to get these pins. One of them was to play the new DLC. It was the remake of the Pit, the Halo 2 map.
Yeah, they had the Pit, which is awesome.
And then we were playing this new game type called Ricochet that's going to be coming out. It's sort of like
football.
Yeah, it's basically football. You're running the ball in into the goal. So
it's like reverse capture the flag.
So we play as a team of 4, and we pretty much almost win the game in probably a minute to a minute and a half.
It was like 3 minutes.
That's not an exaggeration.
So basically, I mean, we just are slaughtering this other team, and the Microsoft employee, multiple times came up to me and to us on the side, and he's like, "Guys, you need to cool it down. Like, we got to give these other kids some playing time. Like, cool it." And so, I mean, after multiple times, Trent was hilarious because he's holding the ball, so he's just running it back and forth on the map, and their team's kind of chasing him, and we're just shooting him. But it was just hilarious that we got told to cool it. It was fun.
Slow it down. It's like, guys, let them have a little bit of playing time.
The remake of the Pit feels good. They changed a couple things.
It feels so great.
They moved the sniper rifles up instead of under the sniper's nest. They added an airlift under the sword. So it's very familiar, and it just kind of makes it move a little quicker.
Yep. And TJ will appreciate that they had power weapon spawns on the map instead of just,
calling in ordinances.
I was going to try my hardest not to bring this up. I actually went to a Halo 3 LAN party this last weekend, and it's just like so good.
What are you trying to say there?
He's saying he misses the old days.
It was awesome never running out of ammo and just being better all the time. Anyway, I'm excited to try it out.
He didn't want the challenge. It didn't have to earn his victories.
That's funny. Eric, favorite moment?
My favorite moment was probably an offsite event. Was on Saturday night when we went, and Adult Swim was there in some capacity. And one of the things they had going on was the Adult Swim Funhouse, which was an offsite event that only took place in the evening. You had to show up at like 4 o'clock and pick up tickets, and then you'd show up later in the evening at a designated time, and they'd let you through this Funhouse. And it was like the most bizarre thing I've ever gone through, but at the same time it was hilarious. I mean, it was It was so bizarre. Devin did it. Trent did it with us too. I mean,
Did you have any bags with you when you tried to do it?
I just had my one shoulder bag, but Reggie had his bag and his poster tube, and he had the same problem that you did.
I had side bag. I had that stupid chair that I brought, the folding chair, and then I had my poster tube. And that bungee room was absolute hell. You should
That
tell him about the
bungee room.
bungee room, Eric.
Oh my God, yeah, Eric, tell him.
So there was multiple rooms that you wind up going through. Like, you come into one room and everything's like painted like 8-bit arrows on the floor, but they got like different flashing lights, and it looks like everything's moving, and your mind's just like wigging out the whole time you're in there. You go into like another room, and it's set up like the living room from Aqua Teen Hunger Force, and it's like you can either go around the outside or you can crawl through this TV over here.
Oh, did you crawl through?
I did crawl through.
We
the
crawled
TV.
through the
dude.
TV.
I didn't
We
crawl
did.
through. I wish I would have.
So when you crawl through the TV, what it does is it spits you out on the other side of this room, and all that's in that room is a crib with a grown man in a diaper, like shirtless, like with a bonnet and a rattle and a binky and stuff. It's like you crawl through the TV.
Dude, and then he calls you
Nothing, and he's just
dad.
like,
Yeah.
Dad?
Daddy.
Dude, no.
Daddy.
I was like, no.
Dude, and you're just over him. Like, you crawl through the TV, and you're, like, over him, and he's just he's sweaty and shit, and he just looks up at you, and he's just like, Daddy? And I'm like, God, I gotta get out of this crib. This is not my thing right now.
So, like, you go through that, and, like, there's another room where it's, like Devin said, it was a bungee room where there's just bungee cords stretched every which way in the room, and you have to, like, step over and under.
Had to have been
And-
100 bungee cords, just every
Yeah,
angle.
it was just everywhere. And Reggie and Devin ran into the same thing, and I went behind them, and it's just like Reggie would step through, and like his poster tube behind him would get caught, and I'd have to like pull the bungee cords off of him so that he would be able to keep going and stuff. And it was just hilarious. And then like when he got to the end, there was 3 different exits that you could go through. If you went to the one on the far right, it took you out to this cage, and like the Adult Swim employees were monitoring the cage, and the only way you could get out of the exit was by singing a full karaoke song, and they were all really embarrassing songs, like Miley Cyrus's Party in the USA, Total Eclipse of the Heart, just like they made you sing a full song in order to get out of the cage. And then there was the middle entrance, which was a slide, and it was just kind of like a lame exit that you could go through. And then on the far left side, it's just like you have to go through this washing machine, and the washing machine has the humping robot from Robot Chicken on the outside, just going to town on the washing machine. So, and then when you crawl through, what it is, it's like this birth canal thing, and you crawl out like just
like
tiny
airbags that are
opening,
pressing
yeah,
It's
like
pushing you
airbags.
in, and you're like pushing it against, like you're really
Yeah,
You're
you
like
have to like
pushing
yourself.
crawl
Birth
out, and then on the outside there's just 2 legs, and it spits you out onto a stretcher, and it's like you just came through the birth canal, and then they take your picture of it and everything. It was so bizarre, but it was so much fun and just a hilarious time.
Man, yeah, I love that Funhouse. We got pins and stuff from it. We got pictures of Robot Chicken. That was just a fantastic time. And it's kind of a weird thing in retrospect. I think my favorite moment overall was actually all of Saturday. And what's funny about that is that Saturday was full of nothing but disappointments. And I think we were the most grumpy on Saturday. There was more people than any other day by
A long
by a
shot.
huge margin. Every booth we went to, they were sold out. The people that we wanted to see weren't there. We went off-site. We walked for like 30 minutes to go see this Godzilla exhibition thing that they had off-site, and we found out that we couldn't go in because
you had to
we
have
needed to get a
tickets.
ticket all the way back at the convention center. And we went back to try and get the ticket, but then we found out that they only announced it on Twitter, and they only do it like every so often, so you have to be
It was
like
like 4
hovering
times
around.
a day, and you had to be hovering around, but they were shooing people away constantly, saying you can't be around here. It was so stupid.
Yeah, it wasn't worth it at all, and I think, and you got to realize we got there at what? I think on Saturday we got there right when it opened up, so at like 9:30 a.m.
Mhm.
And we left the off-site at what 10:30, 11 o'clock.
Yeah, because the tickets we wound up getting for the Adult Swim Funhouse weren't until like 9:30, 10 o'clock. It was.
Yeah, we went there late, so we were there for a good 13 and a half hours, and it was a whole day of just going from one place to another, and it just felt like failure. But it was like this huge, big adventure that we went on. I mean, I remember Reggie specifically going, God, this sucks. This is just one big failure after another. And I think we bailed on like 3 panels because the lines were too long and we were just not having it. and it was just this huge long day. But it's what I remember the most, like just all that struggle throughout the entire day, and then capping it off with Eric's greatest moment, which was that Adult Swim Funhouse. And I think we walked a total of like 7 miles after we counted it that
It was
day.
something like that, 7 or 8 miles, just everywhere. We were exhausted and grumpy, and then we got Jack in the Box, and everything was fine.
Dude, mini churros.
Oh gosh, mini churros. Yeah, one of my favorite experiences is definitely Jack in the Box. So what do you guys think after those favorite moments? What about favorite purchases? I mean, Comic-Con is full of exclusives, full of all kinds of swag that you can buy. What
You
were
should
our
start
favorite
this one.
purchases?
We
Who,
started
me?
the other ones. Yeah, you should start this one.
All right. I think easily, especially after looking at all my swag after I got home, my favorite purchase was the Pacific Rim Mondo poster that I got.
Oh, I ended up getting that one, huh?
I did. It's a poster by Ash Thorpe. If you just Google Ash Thorpe
I
Pacific
thought
Rim
that
Mondo
Pacific
poster.
Rim one was the Kevin Tong one.
Was it Kevin Tong? Yeah, I
Yes.
think you're right. It was Kevin Tong. The Kevin Tong Pacific Rim, the colors, the red just pops. I'm so glad because there was a variant that Eric ended up getting, which is gold. But mine, if you Google it, it's all red. And I was actually holding it up outside of the plastic that they put it in, and my God, the colors and the details, I'm just like, I am so happy that I purchased this. It was a good $50. I mean, it's a really, really high quality poster. It's 24 by 36. And I ended up getting an Aliens variant poster along with it. And I just felt like I opened those posters up when I got home, and I was like, this was worth every penny. And I couldn't be happier. I did get a few other things, a little smaller purchases, but I've never bought anything like that at Comic-Con before, and I'm very happy with it.
If you ever wonder why I'm not answering, I didn't go, so that's why we're skipping me.
Someday.
Oh, DJ.
All right, Devin.
Okay, so mine's not quite a toss-up, but there is an honorable mention. So, number one print, I have Dustin Hanson to thank for it because he got me super stoked for it. It was this Mark Englert print. It's called All Work and No Play. It's basically The Shining. The hotel's kind of up on one side, and then kind of the maze laid out across the other side. Danny's running into the maze, like playing. And up in the window, it's like red in the window, and it's like Jack Nicholson's kind of silhouette in there. You can see him like typing in there. So that one's super cool.
Did you get that?
Yes, I got that one. What I
You
did
didn't
Awesome.
get the variant, though, did
You didn't get the
Didn't.
variant, though.
No, the variant was almost awesome. It was a winter version of that, which I would have bought in a heartbeat if it was literally just a winter version, or if Jack Nicholson had like an axe and was like going into
At
the
night.
maze.
Winter version at night.
That would have blown my mind. That was the speculation. But when they released it, it was all Simpsons characters doing that stuff, which is
fine.
cool in its own thing, but not as part of a set. Because I was thinking in my head, I had the set of two of them on opposite sides of a hallway or something like that. Or I just thought that'd be so cool. So I didn't end up getting the variant. Could have been cool, but yeah.
What
I guess
about
it's
you,
my
Eric?
turn.
Favorite purchase?
So my purchases were my favorite purchases were the same as Trent. Honestly, I got the same ones except for the Pacific Rim variant. But the ones that I'd have to say that was second place to that would have to be the Kid Robot exclusive figures that they had for Street Fighter. This year they had a Shin Akuma one, and then the other one that they had was a Mecha Zangief one. So he's all chrome plated and has like red eyes and stuff. And that one, those two were just so
They
cool.
were awesome looking,
Yep.
man. They were the best. Seriously. And they were like that you could only buy one a piece.
I didn't expect Zane to be calling in live from the Twilight concert series.
Is he messing up the
Yeah, he's just changing
The
the
layout.
thing. He's all right.
Yeah.
I'm just fixing it right now.
By the way, that picture of Trent is him eating Cheese Whiz.
Oh yeah,
what?
that's a secret. Oh,
Absolutely
Zane's
not.
gone.
Oh, it looks like Eric and I are in the same room. How you doing, Eric?
Pretty good.
There we go.
Changed it back.
Well, that looks weird.
All right, guys, real quick, let's just recap some of the stuff that came out this week at Comic-Con. We want to touch, just mention it. Batman, Superman movie. Trent, what do you think? Good move, bad move?
Bad move.
It's about the only move Warner Brothers has, though.
Bad move. They
I saw you said you think they should take it slow like Marvel did. Introduce
should.
everybody, then go forward. You don't think they should just come out swinging?
I don't. I think that they don't have the ammunition to come out swinging. What they need to do, and if you think about it, Marvel's already done all this stuff, right? They've already built up Avengers. So why don't DC take their time, let Marvel have their time in the spotlight, have them 50 minutes of fame, let that have their phase 1, phase 2, and then let them build up.
Let them dominate the box office for now, and then
and then when there's no Avengers movie to compete with, you release Justice League after you've released Flash,
but the thing
Wonder
is,
Woman,
like,
Aquaman.
the Avengers, like, that they have, they're planning Avengers Phase 2, and then they've already got Phase 3 lined up after that, and Avengers 3 going on. I mean, it's going to be 10-plus years before the Avengers movies are done wrapping up.
Yeah, but think about
just
that.
enough time to introduce all the DC characters.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, Phase 3 isn't going to... Phase 2 is going to be hella popular. Why try to compete with it after they've done all this stuff? Phase 3 is when stuff starts to die down. It's the third part in a trilogy. Think of Return of Jedi, Dark Knight Rises, all that kind of stuff. It's not as hype as the second movie in the series, and I think that's the way Avengers is going to go as well. So why don't you build up your hype so you can have your first Justice League movie and totally take that spotlight away from Marvel instead of completely competing with them? They're going to lose because they're rushing this. They're not going to do the quality that they should. They're not going to treat the characters like they should be treated, and it's going to be ass. I'm saying this right now.
I really don't think it's going to be ass. I don't want another Batman origin story movie. I think it's a good idea that they're teaming him. What are you going to do?
Do Aquaman, Flash, Wonder Woman.
People won't
even
like
Martian
an Aquaman
Manhunter.
movie.
I disagree. Aquaman could be an amazing
Or
movie.
Wonder Woman. I put both of those on a tier that
better. Wonder Woman
neither
has the
movie can be
potential.
good.
See, I disagree with that.
I agree with Trent. They can be good.
No one would ever relate with Aquaman. I'm
Think
sorry.
about Captain America. Making a Captain America movie or even a Thor movie, I didn't think they could be done. They
Thor
did
is
them really
the weakest
well.
one because it's the least relatable.
I think Captain America is the weakest one because it's even further removed. At least
the whole time the cryo sleeping thing.
Okay, I can agree with that.
Here's the problem. They're not doing a Batman and Superman movie. They're doing a Batman versus Superman movie. This has instilled a great amount of fear in my heart because the line you have to walk to pull this off correctly, I don't have the trust that Warner Brothers can pull it off. They have to pull
I
off.
have the fear for me because Zack Snyder's doing it. So.
Yeah, and I just.
I don't know.
It really
all right.
scares me.
We just wanted to touch on it. We got some agrees. We got some disagrees. Maybe we'll touch on it more on the after show. Next thing, guys, I'm posting a link in the Twitch chat for those who are here live. I can't because I'm not a mod. Sorry, Devin was supposed to do that. But Dread 2.
Dread 2. It's a possibility.
It's always been not even on the table. It's been in the back row for a long time.
But here's do you see who's supporting it now? Who's got their full-fledged support?
It's 2000 AD Entertainment, who's the people who own the rights and publish the Dread comics and everything.
Yeah, they're pushing for it really, really hard. They've got a petition online that you can go and sign. Just do 2000 AD. What's that?
Think about
who's running the petition.
2000 AD is running
2000
it.
AD.
It is theirs then.
Yes, it's them.
They have a phase.
Maybe they should put up a Kickstarter. We could pay them for it, right?
I would pay it. I would pay for that.
No, I already signed the signature that says you can have my money.
There you go. You just send them an email. That's all you do.
That's all I need to do. It's gonna happen now.
This is a reference to an old show, everyone.
Yeah,
all right.
callback jokes.
Callback jokes. They're fun. Okay, guys. Well, we're gonna do some recommendations and then kind of wrap it up.
Pick a movie
for the main show. We're gonna.
For the main show, we're definitely gonna have an after show. Stick around. We're gonna go over the trip in more detail, especially things that happened outside of trip, outside of Comic-Con. I guess I should say. I'm sorry, stumbling over my words here. I'll go ahead and start. I am gonna recommend a game that I bought on Steam. I know I guess it's past its prime or past its time, but. Borderlands 2, man, I'm having a lot of fun in that game. I'm sad that I waited to buy it because it's
I want to
top quality
apologize.
humor, top quality, just everything. It's awesome.
Yeah, I want to apologize to Gearbox because that game I should have bought all the DLC, but I don't know why I stopped playing it. It was too awesome and I couldn't handle it.
There's another DLC coming too, man. So buy that.
I have the season pass now, so I'm good.
So do I.
Me too.
We're all good. Eric, what about you, man? We got recommend this week. Oh wait, we got to do your movie. We'll do you last.
Yeah.
For those
Okay.
who are new or not listening yet, we pick a movie for Eric every week. We'll get to that. Trent.
I have two recommendations. First of all, I mean, I've been doing so much. I mean, once you get back from Comic-Con, you get really inspired to do stuff, get more in the know of different things. Having left Comic-Con, I didn't want to leave that feeling behind, so I actually ended up watching Comic-Con Episode 4, A Fan's Hope, which is a documentary about being at Comic-Con. They follow 4 to 5 Comic-Con attendees and why they're going there. It's really awesome. And it actually takes place in 2011, which is the first year that Eric, Craig, Zane, and I went to Comic-Con. And it's really awesome. It's got that feel. For me, it's really personal and emotional because it was my first Comic-Con experience, so I have a lot of feelings towards that. It's a really well-done documentary. The editing is great. You really feel for the people who are involved. Highly suggest it. My other recommendation is going to be a game that also came out on Steam. It was released today. It's something that I kickstarted a long time ago and supported a long time ago. And if you go back way in our archives, I actually recommended it then at that time. But now that it's actually out and you can play it, I want to recommend Shadowrun Returns. It is fantastic so far. It's everything. I've been waiting for a game like this for so long. It's just like Icewind Dale. It's just
That
like
released
Baldur's
today,
Gate.
right?
Yeah, that released today.
As of today, yeah.
As of today, July 25th. I mean, you create your own character, you create your own class. I mean, you get. I mean, the customization's not that great, but it's just
Doesn't
like
it play a
Icewind
little
Dale.
like XCOM? A little bit, that turn-based?
Yeah, I would say it plays a lot like XCOM, actually. It's not the same feel or tone. It's more got the tone of Baldur's Gate and Icewind Dale, but the mechanics are there. They're basically the same. You switch out weapons. You have percentages over enemies' heads. You can be like a spellcaster. You can be a fighter, like sort of a adept or a kung fu guy. You can be what's called a street samurai, where you dual wield firearms and swords and melee weapons.
I'll be that.
You can be a rigger, where you build robots and your robots fight for you, or you can.
That's me.
Yeah,
or
you were the
can be-
rigger, that's right.
Yeah, Eric was the rigger. Or you can be a class that jacks into the Matrix, and you can find sort of all these secrets within the cyberpunk world of Shadowrun. It's basically magic, cyberpunk. I mean, it's all these genres just clashed into one. It's super cool. It's worth your time. I think it's $20 on Steam. Highly recommend it.
Well, that's where I'm going to be the rest of the night after this.
Yep.
All right, Devin, you want any recommendations?
I do. I finished a book while I was on vacation. Finished on my flight home. It is 11/22/63. People who know me know that I am obsessed with time travel in movies and books and anywhere I can get it. It's basically the story of an English teacher who, through pretty ordinary circumstances, accidentally finds himself able to go back only to one certain date. It's a few years before the JFK assassination. He decides that he's going to go stop the JFK assassination. And so, really cool book. It's definitely has a unique look at time travel that I haven't seen in anything else.
And it's by Stephen King.
Yes, by Stephen King. It has a lot of unique rules that I haven't seen in other time travel stuff. So if you're familiar with time travel and you're looking for something that's going to catch you off guard a little bit, the rules are different in this one. So you'll have to check this one out.
I might have to read it, actually. Thank you, Devin. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for this show. Does
Are we
anyone-
going to go to
What?
Eric? Are we going to go to Eric's
movie, right?
movie?
Yeah, I said Eric, so it registered in my head that we already did Eric. I was waiting on a Twilight concert update, but
But nobody's here. I know that the Flaming Lips are playing tonight, if that helps. I
That's
don't know
right.
who's going to be
you know
playing
what's
next
funny is
Thursday.
we're advertising a concert for you to go to during our show. That's great.
Yes.
No, we're supposed to be saying next week, but none of us know it because our Twilight guys are gone.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I'll
I
look
just
it
know
up
that
while you look up Eric's movie. Eric, let's get you a movie.
Yeah,
to
what
watch.
options do we have for Eric?
Okay, here's the options. And I'm looking between two. And Eric, do you know whether Stranded is opening locally?
I do not know. Let me double check.
Because it's currently at a 0% on
Oh,
Rotten Tomatoes. And I'm really
I
interested.
thought Grown Ups. I've seen so many single-digit Rotten Tomato movies this year. It's disgusting.
I know, and I love every bit of it, man. I'm so sorry, but we really like you reviewing these awful movies. If you find out that they're not playing in our area, I have another movie that I'd like you to see. It's not to torture you or anything. I want your honest opinion on it. It's The To-Do List. For those who don't, it has
Funnier than
Aubrey
American
Plaza movie or whatever.
Pie.
yeah, funnier than American
That's what
Pie.
I remember from the trailer.
It's got Aubrey Plaza, Bill Hader, Johnny Simmons,
Andy Samberg, I saw in the
Oh, jeez.
trailer.
Donald Glover, Christopher Mintz-Plasse. So it's got a little bit of the super bad. It's got Community in there, all those different actors, and it's at 58%, which isn't terrible, Eric. It's really not. It's borderline
By your
good.
standards,
By my
your standards,
standards,
it's
that's solid.
it's amazing.
it might be the
movie.
best movie we send you to see all year.
Yeah. And if you can't see that movie, because I want your honest opinion on how it is as a movie and whether it's worth seeing.
It doesn't look like Stranded is playing anywhere near us.
All right.
Yeah, that's what I
Guess you're
thought. Dang
watching
it.
To-Do
Let's
List.
do the to-do list. I don't think
We'll
you'll
see if I can
hate
night
that
for
because
it.
you get to look at Aubrey Plaza, and if I'm not mistaken, you're a fan of her.
I do like her. She's just kind of hit and miss for me. Sometimes she looks great, and other times I'm just kind of.
She's in Safety Not Guaranteed, right?
She is. She's
yeah,
in Scott
safety
Pilgrim.
not guaranteed.
She's in
She's in
Scott Pilgrim?
She is.
Yeah, she plays.
She
what's her
plays the
name?
girl.
It's not her
where
sister, but
No, she plays the girl that where she swears in the cafe, it bleeps her out and censors her.
Oh,
yeah, she's the
yeah,
coffee
yeah.
barista girl.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome, yeah.
So I am really interested. Eric gets to go see that movie, and he gets to come back and do a report on it. Awesome.
Cool. Well, the Twilight concert next week is the National, so it's
Oh, the National's going to be a big one.
Trent's
yeah,
gonna be
maybe
gone.
What's that?
Trent's gonna be gone.
I won't be gone that week. I'm going to be
Oh.
gone for Grizzly Bear and Youth Lagoon.
Oh, okay.
Youth Lagoon. All right, guys, that's
Youth
going to do it for us
Lagoon.
this week on the podcast, the live cast, whatever you want to call it, the real cast,
The vidcast.
the vidcast. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for joining us. I know we've been gone. We did one, and then we were gone, and now we're back, and we'll make it work. Thanks for joining us. Stick around for the after show, though, where
After
we're gonna
party, if you
where
will.
we're gonna hear about
After
an
party.
epic poker game. Hopefully, get some details on that.
Epic might be
And
stretching
just
it.
some other details. So we're going to take a quick break, guys. We're going to go offline. We'll come back online here in a few minutes. Stick around.
See you then.
Bye.